All right, we're live. We're in the middle of a mess again. Still. While we're waiting for people, we'll do a little bit of cleanup. For those people that are watching later, it's kind of boring. For those people that are watching live, a whole lot more fun. Hit this if you're subscribed. Hit the bell. That way you get notifications if you want to join live. That way, yeah. So I know the State of the Union address is going on now. But I feel like working on this. Just what I feel like doing. Just for a few minutes. It's been a really long day. Again. Yeah. Bring you up here on the phone. See what we're doing. What's going on? 6 people here. Steve's here. PA Dan. Marshall and Brandon. Fantastic. So the idea is I'm working on effectively a Ratty Tatty 372. This is going to be a very, what I would consider a fairly low budget build. Nothing special at all. And I happen to have a head that's pretty well intact. James is here. Good. Welcome. The head here is pretty well intact, but it needed a little bit of cleanup from some transfer. And we were working on it a little bit last night, and really we got it pretty darn good. But let's see if we can do better. You know? So it really looks a whole lot better than it did. 11 people here. Who's here? So let's do this again. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup, put a few things away. Things get out of hand here. I keep working on stuff and don't put things away. So just what happens. So if anybody has any questions at any time, they can always, post them, and that way I can. Lost one. Thanks for that nice comment today, buddy. Yeah, so for those people that don't know, there's still some drama going on in the forums. And, right, wrong, indifferent, whatever. I just don't like to see divisions among good people. And people start arguing about certain things, and ultimately some of the relationships that we have with each other ends up being way more important. You know what I mean? Junkyard. Yeah, well, they got stuff going on. And everybody has some pretty strong feelings, And, when I look at it, for me to say that I don't have strong feelings is probably inaccurate. But then again, what is it? There was an expression. Somebody told me, remember, every time you point a finger at somebody else, there's 3 pointed back at you. Hey, Dan, am I going to get together? Yes, at least I'm planning on it, yeah. So, James, I already gave you the shout out. What are you talking about? You're the one that missed it. All right, so let's get. All right. So this is 50 grit. And you want to spin it pretty darn slow. You don't want to rip with this. You just want to almost tap off the aluminum off the cylinder wall. So this is for anybody that wants to see how to do this. Mastermind has a great video on how to do this. Would not go by what I show you. Go by what he shows on his YouTube channel. He doesn't do a lot of YouTube, but his mastermind method for cleaning up cylinder heads is pretty good, I think. If nothing else, we know this end up, guys. I'm anxious to see how the fresh saw does when it comes together. Enough drama. Yeah. Yeah, muriatic acid. Yeah, you can use acid. You got to be careful with it. Yeah, muriatic acid. You got to be careful with it. It does work in some instances. You might have to let it sit for a bit, but you got to be careful. So, I don't know. Matt Nelson, yeah. Hey, Mega. Yeah, supposedly you can bubble the plating. I assume the plating is porous, kind of like chrome is porous, right? So I assume the plating on here isn't that much different. Low spots are not a problem. It's the high spots. Hey, Mega. Matt Nelson, thanks for that point. That's good. Get another light and see. I have a hard time determining whether you have high spots or low spots. That's my issue. Or if you had a ball hone, you go in there and just, and I think it would clean it up a lot faster. But we're gonna go slow. I'm in no particular hurry on this cylinder head. Besides, I get to hang out with you guys. You guys saw it last night. It was really. Hey, Norm. Probably not. Norm. It almost looks like you really just need to look at it under light, so you can reflect the light off of it in lots of different ways. Hey, Roadrunner. Yeah, I've seen Spike 60 use the ball hunt. I don't have one. It would be nice to have one. You know, just another tool that you need, you know. Just keep adding it up. As far as stuff you need, you know. Oh, great. You know, another tool. I don't mind buying tools. I don't mind having tools. Just you just keep having to need tools, you know. Also stick in the exhaust port and start taking some carbon out too. Just keep feeding disease. I know, we just keep going. You really could start good. Hey Stanley, how are things? Yeah, I like having tools. I just don't, you know, you just keep adding, and it's like you get to a project and you're like, ah, shucks, you know, I need X, Y, or Z, you know. Ah, keep forgetting the wrong switch, you know. I'm tired. I'm good. Had 14 teeth removed. Ooh, yeah. Go in. It's pretty darn good. It really is. I'm going to be hard pressed to get any better than that. All right. So let's continue on the exhaust. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. This is not a contour level build. Be cleaner than it was, and it was running when, you know, this did run right up until it didn't. So, all right. So now let's go to the 220. Get rid of the 50 grit. We're going to go up to 220. How are you? If I sold the Volvo at the right price, I'd have money for tools, yeah. Matt, thinking of rebuilding my MS290. Where should I buy a new cylinder? For your 372, your Husky dealer. It's really not bad. Pretty nice crosshatch. It was like way worse before. And it's really pretty smooth. Smooth it out a little more. And the cylinder shop, obviously, for the stock head, shouldn't you be able to take about the same? If it's a stock head, shouldn't you be able to take about the same about every port? What do you mean, Stanley? Yeah, Edwin, forgive me. I don't do 290s. They drive me crazy. I don't do them. So, I hesitate to give advice on something I don't do, you know? Funny, Marshall. Funny. Ladies and gentlemen, a funny guy. Yeah, I know, Marshall. That was hard to resist. Yeah, like Dan said, I would make that a 390. Like a 455 Rancher, I wouldn't leave a 455. I'd make it a 460 if I could. Yeah, anything that's there now is low instead of high. The smudges and whatnot, they're just smudges. It's not chunks of aluminum. Big bore standard. The easy thing this is a standard 50 millimeter 372. Nice thing about this, you get the dang pistons from Meteor, no problem. You got a Meteor right here. I think this is single ring too. So you get a 371 piston. They're inexpensive. If you need to, repiston it, no problem. It's a nice head. It's a nice head. So, actually, going back to the Iron Horse thing for a minute, but not specifically talking about him, one of the things that he did, he put a highway cylinder head on a saw, and apparently it had issues. There are probably quality control issues with the head. Overall, I am definitely of the opinion at this point, if you're going to use an aftermarket head, you probably need to do a significant amount of machine work to port work, machine work, whatever it is, to get it so it's reasonably runnable and reliable and powerful. That's the approach that I take to it. If you want to slap a head on, go get an OEM head. You're still going to check it, but odds are you'll be able to slap an OEM head on a 372 and run and not worry about it. But if you're putting no matter what saw you're doing, 372 is an easy example. If you're doing an aftermarket head, and I do aftermarket heads certainly, and the big bore, the 52 millimeter big bore, is a kicking saw. I will tell you guys that, and Mason had a whole heap of fun running it. It is a kicking saw, but in order to get it to be good, I had to do a lot of machine work to the crankcase, to the head, all that stuff. So there was a lot of stuff to be done to an aftermarket head to get it to be reasonable, and I can't guarantee the longevity. I'm intending to take it to the get together and kick butt with it, but who knows? It could hook a ring between now and then. Yeah, Edwin, I'd probably go with an OEM head if you can find one. I want to see if I can get rid of some of these little smudges. I don't know if I can, but yeah, I know. Hey, ported saws hook rings by the best of them. Okay, they just do. So it's definitely one of those kind of moments where everything just gets wrecked, and it's a bad moment for everybody. But it does happen. So yeah, the 370, the big bore 372 cut really fast. So for this 372, as I'm going to build it, which will have an OEM head, but it's going to be kind of ratty tatty. I'm kind of thinking $300. That's what I'm thinking. Kind of thinking $300, and I think that it's going to be cheap enough that Ken won't be able to resist that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. This is pretty doggone smooth. Always a package deal. I'll bundle this with anything else. $300. Drew Douglas, welcome. Yeah, any of the smudges that are on here are just not worth it to try to get off. They're just smudges. So, let's go back to my Scotch-Brite. The real question is, if I shove this in there. Yeah, it's just dinging on the top. No worries. Think you got a buyer for a couple but saws, Matt? Well, we'll see. Whee! Yeah. So perfection it is not, but this is as smooth as we're going to get it. I know. James is always interested. Preferably for half of what it cost me to build it. So the smudges on there are still are smooth. They're just smudges. It's not chunks of aluminum. So it won't mess up the next head, you know? Seen, yeah, it's good. Drew Douglas, yeah, a lot of the saws John Riley has are mean. They really are. I think Riley's got quite a bundle of really mean stuff over there. If you guys think I spend money on stuff, holy smokes, check out his stuff. Ooh. So before we can put the head on, we got to put this part on. And we got to get these rubber pieces off that are broke. You need a package deal. Yeah. The price of the Volvo, the 268, and the 372. There you have a package. Done. There's no discount if you buy all three. If you seem to think that there's a discount, you are mistaken. Ladies and gentlemen, my moderator is a funny guy. And he's probably here all night. Hey, Bob. Yeah, now we got that. Good. You know what I also like to do on these 372s? I like to, the gas line, I like to open that up a little bit just so it moves a little easier. So you think about it, the gas line comes up from the tank, and you want it to entree into here easily. and then exit easily as well. And nothing sharp or rough. That's just how I like to do it. Yeah, just like dentistry. All day. Yeah, it's the Volvo. James has, of late, taken a particular shine to it. Your carburetor base, you got to get the carburetor base down before you put the head on. And if you're going to drop the head and everything, you probably want to grind that out a bit. Now, I'm not going to drop the head, so I don't need to really worry about it, but still. These are all short machine bolts with flanges. I put them in with Loctite here. Maddie, no comment needed, but after 900 comments read, I kind of agree with Bob Micrade. I can see the issue. Oh, enough said. Okay. Yeah, the drama continues. Everything kind of, keeps going. The beauty of it all is that, I am not judge, jury, and executioner. In the court of public opinion, that's not me. I've had my own issues, obviously. You guys remember all that stuff. And I don't, I want to move on if I can, move forward, and focus on, what works. Can you use JB Well in a gas tank? I've tried all kinds of stuff. Sometimes you can get it sealed. Sometimes you get it sealed with heat. So I use a soldering iron and work on it, and sometimes you can actually get it sealed with heat. But it's just not going to be reliable, It's just not going to be reliable. You're probably going to end up needing to get a new tank. Yeah, so, you go with what works. And what is good and positive and all that other stuff. Yeah, but that's the beauty of it. It's a free country. I think the actual topic gets back to my as is video, and it's that we have, and this is very important, we have the right to contract in this country. I can sell, you know, Bob, if you want to buy this for $100, we both agree on it's an equal price, a good price. It's up to you. You want to buy this piece of Scotch-Brite for $100? Great. Free country. That was our contract. We have an agreement. We shake hands. That's it. It's done. Guess what? Nobody else that can tell us that that's wrong. All right? They might make fun of you and say, what the heck do you do that for? But it's your own responsibility to check and make sure that your dollar is going as far as it possibly can. You know what I mean? Hey, Alan. See, Marshall, Marshall is smart. He's trying to negotiate. Thing is, Marshall, I know what I've got. This is worth $100. But you get what I'm saying is that it's on the buyer every time to make sure that their dollar is going furthest. You know? And it's on both parties to uphold whatever contract you guys agree to. So, you know what? If somebody wants to sell $1,000 port job, that's up to them. It's fine with me. I think it's a little excessive. But you know what? If the buyer and the seller are happy at the end of the day, great. What happens is you have trouble when somebody alters the contract. That's when you have trouble. That's the Darth Vader moment. I'm altering the contract. Pray I don't alter it any further. And for you guys that haven't seen, I think that was The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back from years ago. That's what that was. I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. That's when you start to have trouble. And one of the beauties, I think, of the online forums is the court of public opinion is ideally suited to holding people to contracts, not holding people to somebody else's standard, but holding people to contracts, whatever that contract was. You see what I'm saying? That's what I think. And, it seems to me that overall what happened is that A, there was trouble, and B, then the standards get questioned. So what are the true standards of the industry? And in dentistry, we call that standard of care. Fillings have a certain standard of care that they have to meet. Crowns, whatever it is, they have certain standard of care that they have to meet. And something that is reasonably far outside the standard of care is going to be given the fishy eye. In dentistry, we call that malpractice. And you can get into trouble for that sort of thing. In the saw world, things that are outside the realm of standard of care get the fishy eye in the court of public opinion. And you know what? I'm not immune to that. You guys see everything that I do right here. Matt, I have a brand new AM 372 to sell it for $1. Great. Do I need that? Probably not, right? So, yeah, I'm definitely not immune to it because I'm right here showing you guys everything that I do. You guys see my mistakes, you guys see my boneheadedness, and hopefully you guys see my successes. Something you figure out something that works and something that didn't, and hopefully as time goes on here, I can also help guide people as to where to go to get proper answers for things, or if you want to get something done in a certain way. I'll show you guys. And I'm tooting his horn right now. Squish band is cut, base is cut. Nice and even all the way around. This is done by Rattler in North Carolina. I'm tooting his horn because I think he does primo work. Now, I did the port work in here. I think it's pretty good, but we're going to ignore that. I think the port work's pretty good. He seemed to think it was okay too. But, if you need machine work, Rattler's the guy. I think he did a nice job. Just to show you, here's my intake, what it looks like. I know that there were some photos online. I have not touched this up since I sent this down to Rattler. No gouges. It doesn't have to be ultra smooth, but what I do with an intake, this is filled in, and you square the corners here and worry less about this. But Bob, I appreciate it. Yep. What I want to do is I want to take it and take the topic further to where I think the discussion needs to go, and that is towards finding guys that can do what we need to get them to do. Rattler does a nice job with his machine work. It really is top shelf. Very happy overall. I'm happy with that, and I don't. You guys know I do most of my own work. So for me to go to somebody else, it better darn well be top shelf. Toot Rattler's horn. So again, Rattler, very nice. Alan, I wouldn't mind trying it, but I don't have a 272 to run. I don't think I have a set of cases here, and really I'm just I'm right now I'm buried in work anyway. Tell you what, I have a 372 with a highway top end that I ported that kicks butt. It does. Is it as good as the other one? Which was like a Farmer Tech top end, like the cheapest, 52 millimeter top end. Is it as good as that? Probably not quite, but it's still pretty good. I think it's got probably 200 pounds of compression. So I think some of the highway stuff can be quite nice. Do I think it's better than OEM? Yeah, probably not. Their new line, maybe. Kind of interested to see they have a new line of stuff with new plating. So that would be interesting to fool around with. But that's what we're doing. We're fooling around. This stuff is just not that serious. And I know you guys take it real serious, and that's cool. But I don't. I'm approaching this where I'm fooling around. I'm having a good time. If I'm building a something to sell, it probably these days probably going to get an OEM top end. I don't want trouble when they go out the door. How's that saw running? The 52 millimeter top end saw is in my shed currently. It's sitting there. It'll get run a little this spring and then brought to the get together. I will try to run it as much as possible, but I don't have a particular use for that or the other 15 saws in my shed. Sorry, I just got way too much stuff. You guys got to start buying things and getting rid of stuff from me, and it hasn't happened. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we got this down. Next thing to do is I got to go wash this 372 head. Wait a minute. Just want to hit this with the Scotch-Brite. Yeah, it's going to go to the get together. Oh yeah. all I'm doing is just getting it down to bare metal. Shiny metal. That's all I'm doing. Not trying to gouge it or nothing. Or I just want to make sure it's nice and shiny. And now I'm going to go wash it. Bob, no problem. You're welcome anytime, buddy. It's a free country, too, you know. You believe what you want to believe. You contract what you want to contract. You know? That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I can feel low spots, but it's not chunks of aluminum. That'll still produce nice compression. Also need the intake. Now, where would that be? I put that over here somewhere? I probably did. It's like, oh, we're going to dump this over. Or it's here, staring at me. Another possibility. $394 intake parts here. And once I get all it built, it'll all just disappear into a saw. And then I'll have unburied myself. But until then, here it is. Not yet. That's what I'm looking for. Do I have another one? I guess I can use this one. I'll use this one. Got another 50mm cylinder. This one's got some busted fins, but it's really pretty good. Yes, let's do that. Oh, the dryer's done. So always check these that they're not ripped. That's a famous mistake. Intake boot, not ripped, not cracked. Good. And again, for the purposes of this build, I'm not going to put goop on here. If this ends up coming back apart, it'll be easier to take apart if there's no 518 on here. The clamp most definitely needs to be underneath. It's really the best place for it, because there's room here. Make sure the tabs and everything are in the right spot. This little centerpiece here makes it so you can't over tighten it really. Done. It's actually a used OEM gasket that I think I'm going to hit with some brake cleaner. And 1184 this thing down. Let me know what sort of Husqvarna that's compatible to. Oh, yeah, so a 372 is roughly 70 cc's. So this saw directly competes with a 440. Over this saw, the big competition was the 440. The 460 is slightly bigger on a very similar chassis to the. It's not a 440 chassis, and I'm not super familiar with it, but power to weight, I think the 460s are probably pretty good. Okay. Again, I'm gonna get this here. Brake cleaner just to degrease it. I'm happy to help, buddy. And these clips I don't like at all. So, getting rid of those. Actually, that's a really good question. Do I have 12 millimeter pin clips? I don't know. There's the piston. I know I got clips, but shoot. We could run out of room here real fast. I don't know where my clips are. Brand new caber. Fits. Click. Now I gotta find clips. So much stuff around here. Wait a minute. Yes. Can I find a sec? Oh, yeah. Oh, no way. It's another one in here. Random bag 372 parts. Whew. Okay. Who doesn't like the random bag of parts? All right. Good. Yeah. So which one is easier? Doesn't really matter. Okay. OEM pin clips. Click. Should roll nice and gentle. Good. Okay, now we need pin bearing. How late is it? Oh, it's after 10. I gotta go to bed. What are we doing here, guys? I gotta go to bed. It's too late. Pin bearing. All right, this is ready to go. Clip. We gotta goop it up and find some bolts and seat it. But I'm not doing it tonight. I need to go to bed. Long day, 6-day week. I gotta get up early tomorrow. So No, we're not popping this yet. No, it ain't happening. Um, yeah. So yeah. So yeah. Come on. I'm going to bed. If you guys want to see me tomorrow, I gotta go to bed. The scratch on the piston. What are you talking about? Brand new. Oh, geez, junkyard, killing me. It's brand new. Killing me. All right. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Thanks much. Do appreciate everybody. Um, be safe out there. And if anybody has any questions, they can email me. James has posted the link. Do appreciate it. Killing me, junkyard. Andrew, how's it going? Forgive me for not giving you a shout out. If anybody I missed, I'm sorry. We'll catch up with you tomorrow night, okay? All right, have a great night, guys. Bye bye.